Okay, hi everybody, my name is Gary Kimmel and I've recently started this channel with a goal in mind of setting you up powerfully to win at the game of life. Now, I'm passionate about many things, and some of the things that I'm going to share with you in this channel are things that I call what most people won't tell you. So you can almost think of me like an Uncle Gary. I'm that fun and friendly uncle that will be straight with you because I care about you and because I think you can handle it. And most importantly, I believe you deserve to know. Now, with many uncles, I know there are many of them that, much like me, I'm going to say some stuff that may annoy your parents. And that's not the end of the world. We still love them and we're not trying to intentionally annoy anyone. And some of the things that I'm going to tell you, let me level with you, is going to be confronting. So let's jump right in and let me give you an example. And I'll tell you something that I don't think most people will tell you. If you're old enough to have already started saving for retirement, or you have parents who have been saving for their retirement, then you'll probably have come across this term known as a financial advisor. And you may have even seen TV commercials where you go into this office, it looks kind of like a bank branch in some ways, and the person sitting behind the desk or coming to greet you is this very dapper looking, confident individual, and the married couple go in and tell them what they're trying to do with their life and when they want to retire and how much money they want, and the financial advisor puts a plan together for them and deciding on what they're going to invest in. Now, what most people think is that an advisor, exactly like the word would say, is someone who gives you advice. And advice, by the definition of the word, is meant to be in your best interests. What they don't tell you is that most people who work for financial advice companies or financial companies these days that sell anything to do with retirement are actually basically salespeople. And there's nothing wrong with being a salesperson, but in the terms of the word advisor, A-D-V-I-S-E-R, you are actually duty-bound to tell someone advice that's in their best interests. This is known as a fiduciary duty. You're actually supposed to do what's in their best interest, the client. But in a way to get around that, what most financial firms did was they changed the word advisor to advisor, A-D-V-I-S-O-R. And it's a little bit gray because some dictionaries say, well, they're kind of interchangeable, some say they're not. But the reality is, what they basically did was limit how much you could do about if they gave you advice that wasn't in your best interest. Now, not all advisors are like this. Not everyone is just a salesperson trying to sell something. But what is happening is that by saying advisor, they're removing any burden of basically putting your needs first. So there's nothing wrong with going to a financial advisor per se, but it would be the same as going to a car salesperson or a car dealership and saying, I think they're going to give me the best car for me. That's possible, and it may even be true at times, but what's predictable is they're going to sell you whatever you're willing to buy. So this is their way of basically saying, look, we need to sell products and wealth funds, and that's what it looks like, so we're going to sell you something. It's not in your best interest, or certainly not many of the times. We know this is the case because the industry has started to adapt and adopt new regulations that the regulators have had to put in place, governments have had to put in place, that regulate financial firms putting products that are in your best interests out to market. This is basically mandating by law that people look out for your best interests, because that's not what they're doing. So why am I telling you this? Well, what's the point of all of this? Well, the point is Uncle Gary is telling you that you are in charge of your financial success and your financial future. There's no one else coming. No one's going to look after you. The government's not going to look after you. You can't expect someone, your employer, the state, the federal government, whatever. No one's going to look after you. Now, that may or may not be true for you. You might live in a country where they will look after you. But the way I'm positioning this for you, what I'm challenging you with is consider yourself as the CEO of you. And what that looks like is you get to be accountable for how your life goes. You get to say how this is going to work. And many people would find that it's easier to just put it in one of those robo-advisors, just square it away and I just put money in every month and I don't look at it and it's just so much easier. Well, that's, it's one approach, and some people have got success with that. But I believe you should still understand what options you have and what you chose to do. Even if you end up at the same answer as I'm just going to put it in that fund and leave it. Understanding what went into that is very, very powerful in case something changes, or in case you need to help someone else, or in case something goes away you didn't think it was going to go. Especially in markets like what we're having now, which is we're in the 2020s, late 2020s in November, it is a very turbulent time. So, as the CEO of you, anytime you think, well, I don't really want to think about it, I don't want to have to deal with it, that's a big red flag. That would be like you being the CEO of a company saying, I don't really care how the company's doing, I don't want to deal with it, I just want to sit around and not worry about it. That's a big red flag. So Uncle Gary's telling you don't do that. You get to at least look out for what you're doing and take responsibility, be responsible for your own life. So I hope you learned something from this. I hope you got something out of what I'm creating here. And if you did, please go ahead and like and subscribe, and the button's down below. Not just to help the YouTube algorithm, make sure that other people hear this, but also because if you are wealthy and you retire successfully, or even do better than needing to retire, you can actually make a lot of money before you need to retire. If you do that, it's so much more fun if you do it with people you know and love, like your friends, your family, having people around you who actually are also in a similar position. It's much better than you being wealthy and everyone else around you not. So that's my commitment, is if you do find value in it and you think that this is something that would be of value to other people, please go ahead and like and subscribe so that they can also get access to this. And I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Thank you very much for watching. I'm looking forward to being with you again.